What do The Nightmare Before Christmas, Robot Chicken, Isle of Dogs, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Wallace and Gromit have in common? They're all stop motion films. Stop motion really began was the very first pinnacle of, or first part of filmmaking. With Edward Muybridge, started with a bet, or started with a discussion of whether a horse had its feet, when galloping, had its feet off the ground at any point, which we now know it does. But back then, they couldn't really understand what they couldn't see with the human eye. Muybridge took a series of photos using a photo gun, which is a gun-shaped camera, and when you pull the trigger, it would take photos. And it would show the frames of people moving. Now, like Jack Skellington here from Nightmare Before Christmas, it was a study. In this scene, Jack is studying the Christmas. Notice the plant moving was very convincing. Now all of this is claymation, so none of this is alive or moving, but we use the frames and pictures like Muybridge did to make them alive and real. I like to call it real animation. Lots of filmmakers use this program called Dragon Frame. Now what it is you hook your camera up to your computer and it shows a live feed, and you can use a controller that they give you to take photos. It also has something called onion skin, which it shows the previous frame and the live frame on top of each other, so you can actually measure your movements. This was a quick video on YouTube made by Gouldies, Guldies, who is a phenomenal stop motion artist. This is just the physics behind one of the basic concepts of stop motion. Just convincing movements. Now they have this basic understanding of stop motion, the physics behind it. I will show some clips from some of my favorite and show you exactly how they are alive. This scene from Wallace and Gromit, I want you to pay attention to the ear movement, convincing speed, the subtle movements of the bad guy's hair when he moves. The lip flapping, also showing rapid speed and movement. And with Photoshop, they can actually have these clay figurines float and jump in between scenes. This is a very time-consuming task because most stop-motion films have 24 frames per second. This is from Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a phenomenal and beautiful stop-motion film. And I'll just let this scene speak for itself. Notice just the movement of the hair and the cloaks, making it more convincing that these clay figurines are alive. I think the only thing that isn't clay are the sparks flying off, which is done with Photoshop and post-production. This scene from the Isle of Dogs is only a minute and 30 seconds long, but it took 7 months to film because Wes Anderson was trying to make this scene really convincing. In an interview, they said that the hardest part about the scene is trying to get the gloves on convincingly, which you'll see they did a great job in a little bit. It shows the basic understanding of animals and how they move. Hopefully, this project gave you a better understanding of stop motion films and how much art really goes into it. It's a lot of work and time consuming, but at the end of the day you get a nice, wonderful, beautiful film.